welcome to episode 11 of the Wonderwolle podcast. My name is Andrea. I'm known as Andy J on Ravelry. I am on Instagram as Healthy Kids Happy Mama, and the Wonderwolle podcast also has an Instagram account, which is Wonderwolle. I have a blog which is www.healthykidshappymama.com, which is sadly neglected. And hopefully sometime soon this year there will be a Wonderwolle blog, a website actually. So I also have an Etsy store where I sell handmade stitch markers and stitch marker sets. And now I am also selling some needle cozies, but more on that later. So welcome back. Happy New Year. I'm so glad to have had a break, and I hope that you have had a break and you're feeling refreshed for the new year. I know that I had a fair break off podcasting. It's been about 5 or 6 weeks, but I have been extremely busy around my house. I have been trying to do a few things that have been neglected over the last 12 months and do a little bit of redecorating, so to speak. So my son's room is completely redone. Well, not quite yet. It will be. He's having a Star Wars themed room, and I've painted one wall, which is a feature wall. And he will get the other 3 walls painted in good time, probably at Easter actually. So yes, and I've also been doing some not so much redecorating, but I've got a few pieces of new furniture in my sewing space. So I've been able to revamp my sewing space a little bit and make it heaps more usable, which I've been loving. I've been spending a lot more time in the sewing room, which is great. Although my husband would probably disagree with that. How are you? I hope that you've been well. I hope that you had an absolutely lovely Christmas and New Year, and that it was very relaxing, and that you've been able to do all the tasks that you otherwise wish that you could have done throughout the year. We had a holiday. We had a holiday in Brisbane. We went to Brisbane for about 8 days, and we stayed in an apartment on the river, which was just beautiful. I may have some video actually. I'd have to go back and search through my videos. I have a really cute one actually of the kids at the beach, which I might put in at the end for you. The holiday was because I am from Brisbane originally. Currently I live in Canberra in the ACT in Australia, which is Australia's capital territory. And but we moved here about 7 years ago, so I went to visit my parents and my sister for Christmas and have a little rest in the sun, because that's something that I quite miss. It's so much warmer up there than it is here in Canberra, and the humidity is something that I really miss. So we really did make the most of it. We went out and went swimming, and we went to water parks, and we went sightseeing, and we had a really lovely break. And it really did feel like a break, even though it was Christmas and we were visiting family. I think it's because we weren't staying with family that made it feel like a break. So we actually drove to Brisbane, which is around 12 to 1300 kilometers, and it took us 2 days to drive. That's 2 pretty much full days of driving. So when we got back, we had a little rest, and then I had a further week off work, and that's when I did all my decorating and reorganizing of things in the house. I also had a massive clean out, and I have gotten rid of a whole bunch of things. Well, they're not quite got rid of yet, but they're in a pile waiting to be got rid of. I think I threw out something like 4 bin loads worth of stuff. I guess you'd call it spring cleaning. I don't know. Summer cleaning. New Year's cleaning. I think that's more my style. So things are feeling pretty nice and fresh. There's still a fair way to go, I think, on the spring summer clean out. We've still got lots of baby things, even though my youngest child is now approaching 5. And, you know, things like cot sheets, and we've got a pram still. And those things, the cot sheets, I think will probably go to charity store, and a few other bits and pieces which we're trying to give away as the opportunity arises. Funnily enough, even though I've had a really long break from podcasting and I was on holidays, I have done hardly any knitting, which is crazy because I was really looking forward to having this great break and having time to do all this knitting. And then I got a bit involved in this whole process of cleaning out, and I was doing a room per day, and time would get away from me, and then by the evening I was exhausted, and I didn't have anything simple enough on the go to actually just pick up and knit. So I have started a couple of new things, and I'll show them in a moment, but yeah, it's funny that and I think then when I got my sewing space all fixed up, I was like, oh, now I want to sew. What can I sew? And I actually got a couple of quilting books for myself over Christmas too, and so I've been playing, I guess, more than anything. I haven't actually sewn anything quilty just yet. But I have been having a play, and I'm going to make some pot holders because mine are horrible, and mug mats and that kind of thing, one for work, one for home, because my new sewing desk is all beautiful, and it's got a lovely finish on it. It's just from IKEA, but it's still quite nice compared to my old one, which was covered in paint and pen and scratches, and I kind of want to keep it nice for as long as I possibly can. I also did a bit of a clean out and rearrange of my space when I did that, and you can see if you're a regular viewer that I've changed things around a little bit over here. When I painted my son's bedroom, I stole those shelves from him, and I kind of felt like they'd do a better job of storing my yarn and books than what I had previously, and so far it's been going quite well, actually. So what you can see there is only a little bit of my stash. Well, it's the majority. It's all of the sock yarns on the top shelf there, and also some balls that I have got skeined up, cakes I guess you call them, that I have already skeined up ready to go for projects which I have coming up. And then on the second shelf I have all the yarn that I have set aside particularly for shawl projects, which is a lot. That's a lot of shawls, I think. And then down here in that orange basket is all of my large amounts, so sweater quantities of yarn, which isn't very much. I only have maybe 2 or 3 sweaters quantity of yarns, because that's my goal for this year, and I don't want to go and buy more sweaters quantity until I've used that, because when I've used that I will be confident enough to go out and just buy what I need for future projects. And then I do have a little bit of worsted and DK weight yarns around the place, which I've just got stored in little boxes next to my sewing table. So I don't really have that much. So that was good. I went back to work on January 11th. Today is the 17th of January. And I felt so refreshed, and my head was clear, and it's just been such a nice break to not think about work for 3 weeks. And actually even to not think about podcasting for 3 weeks or more, actually. Podcasting, I love it. I love talking to you guys, and I love interacting with people via the interwebs, but I find it very draining. And it's not so much this bit, it's the uploading and the editing part takes a lot of time. And I still don't have a computer. I still haven't bought myself a new computer, so I have to steal that time from my husband to use his computer, and sometimes you just want a break, you know? I think it's good to just completely have a break from your normal day-to-day. So here we are. We're in January. It's January 17th, and it is a beautiful day here. I've just come home from work, and I have to go and get my eldest son in a little while. He's at a music school all this week. He was there last week too. So he is 7, and this week he's learning drums, which is brave of me as a mother. But I'm happy for him to learn drums if that's what he wants to do. But I thought that drums would be a good thing for him to learn to start with, because it's a great way to learn rhythm and how to read music. So if he wants to choose a different instrument later down the track, that will be okay too. So I am going to move on to what I have been knitting on. I have an almost finished object. I told you I haven't done much. I literally did not do very much knitting at all. And it could be because it's been very warm here. But then all I've been knitting on is socks. So that's not exactly something that's going to be too warm to knit on. So I'll just, let's move on. Let's move on to my finished objects. I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee. Not a fancy mug, just a mug and normal old plain coffee. So my almost finished object is my Christmas socks, and it's all tangled up. I'm just gonna, well, it's not tangled up. I haven't woven in there, I haven't kitchened the toes or woven in the ends yet, so there's a few long ends. But here they are. I chose to do a white contrast toe, heel and cuff. This is West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas colourway, Holly Berry, and it's an interesting yarn. I can't say that I much enjoyed knitting it. It's quite rustic. I assume it's hard wearing, which is why people rave about it. I wonder what it will wash up like. I wonder how they'll go once they're washed. I did a short row heel, which is the first time I've done a short row heel. I did actually knit this, and I knitted the heel the first time, and then I knit my normal heel, which is a heel flap heel, and I was like, I don't like how that looks with the contrast. And so I thought I would do a short row heel just to and I much prefer that look with the contrasting heel. Although I really don't like putting in a contrasting heel, I have to say. So, I mean, I see how this wears, because if it wears well, I like doing the short row heel more than I like doing the heel flap heel. I feel like it's much neater for me, and I get less gaps here in the corners, which I tend to have a problem with. So, it's going to be my goal this year to get myself some sock blockers, because, yeah, you can't really see properly. But that's my nearly finished object, and one of these days I'll get around to kitchenering the toes. I think the reason why I haven't done that yet is because it's really hot here at the moment, and I'm not going to be wearing these probably for another couple of months at least. So I don't feel like I need to, which is really lazy, isn't it? My other partially finished object is my Vita socks by Mina Phillip from the Knitting Expat podcast. It's her pattern. Now I've got one finished and I'm just a little bit in on the second one. These have taken me a really long time and I'm not really sure why. I love knitting this yarn. This is Knit Picks Stroll and it's really, I love it. I would say it's my favourite sock yarn to date. Soft, and when you wash it, it just washes so beautifully. It's they're so comfortable to wear. But I don't know why. Again, I don't know. And another short row heel on this sock. I don't know why it's taken me so long, but I love this pattern. They look so beautiful on the foot. I'm really looking forward to having these done to wear this winter. So that's my Vita socks by Mina Phillip from the Knitting Expat podcast. And this is the yarn. It's Stroll Fingering in Everglade Heather. And really, really nice. I thoroughly recommend it. I think it's slow. It's slow going, but it's not, because the pattern, the way the pattern's written and the way the repeat happens, it's quite intuitive. But I mean, I really should just do one repeat per day and they'll be done in 2 weeks. But like I said, I haven't been doing much knitting. So that's a new project. Well, no, it's not new. It's a new old project. New sock, new second sock. At least the second sock started, yeah. Another new project that I started to do car knitting on the way to Brisbane is a shawl. And this is using Crazy Zauber ball. No, not Crazy Zauber ball, just a Zauber ball in the Cafe Flare colourway. And this is the Yellow Dwarf shawl by Very Busy Monkey. And I've just, this shawl has a knitted on edge. And I've finished up to where the knitted on edging starts. And I've done one row on the knitted on edge, and then I stopped. And the reason I stopped was because at that point I had to follow the pattern. And my brain, being in holiday mode, couldn't follow the pattern, which is crazy because it's only like 20 stitches or something, 22 stitches. So this one's just sort of just been hanging out for a while. It's got one of my little gem stitch markers on it. Oh, it's getting all blown out there. There we go. The gem stitch markers come whenever you buy a set. So if you purchase a set from my Etsy store, then a gem stitch marker will be included. And I also include a gem stitch marker if you purchase a Choose Any 5 stitch markers set. So I feel mixed feelings about this shawl. I feel as though it's quite small. But then I also feel as though this has a lot of stretch in it, and that once it's blocked, it's not going to be small. At the moment, I feel like it could fit a child, but then once the knitted on edge is done, maybe that'll be different. So, I mean, yeah, in comparative to other shawls that I've knit, it feels very small. So part of me goes, I don't want to keep knitting on it because I feel like it's going to be too small when it's done, and then I'll have wasted all this time learning how to do a knitted on edging and following the pattern, and then I'll finish it and it'll be too small. The other part of me says just finish it because it'll probably still be wearable and you can practice the knitted on edging. But I don't know. So this one's just hanging around at the moment, waiting. The next thing that I have been knitting on, and this is probably the thing that I've knit on the most in recent times, is a sock for my son. Now I started a pair of socks for my son last year sometime, probably in August. And then I thought, oh, at Christmas time, I thought, oh, I better start the second sock, hey? Better get going and do that. And so, luckily, I thought to have him try it on before I started, just to check. And it didn't fit. It actually fit my younger son. So, I have cast on a new sock for my son. And here it is. This is how much I've knit. I'm just up to the heel flap. This top bit is in Drops Farble in the Blue Lagoon colorway, and then this here is it's the same as this yarn over here, which is Not Just Socks by Modavira, and this is available to buy in Spotlight in Australia. And I believe that it is the same yarn as the Deborah Norville Serenity sock, which is available in the US. This yarn wears, I have made a pair of socks out of this yarn. This is the colorway. It's like a graphite kind of color. I have made a pair of socks out of this yarn. And washes beautifully in the washing machine, so it's a great yarn for making children's socks with. So I've actually cast on an adult size sock here. It's a 56 stitches cast on, and then just a vanilla sock, and I'm going to do a contrast. I've only got a little bit left, so I'm hoping that I'll have enough to do a contrast a contrast cuff and toe on these socks. So that hopefully I'll get one sock finished this next week, and then I'll give these to him for his birthday, which is on the 13th of February. And that's it. Well, for projects that I've actually done any work on. I do have a few other things still on my needles, but I haven't done any work on them at all, including my barbel hat, which is sad because I really want to finish that. So I'm going to try and do some work on that this week, I think. So I'll move on now to stash enhancement. I did also not get very much stash enhancement over the last few weeks. I did get one Knit Picks order, and that's really it in the way of yarn. One of the things I would have liked to do when I was in Brisbane was go to some yarn stores, but sadly, because it was Christmas time, they were all closed for the holidays. So you know how a lot of stores shut down between Christmas and New Year here in Australia. And so I did go to a couple in Brisbane to just see if they were open, but they weren't, sadly. I went to Niche, which is in Paddington in Brisbane, and that looks like a really cute shop. It's co-located with a fabric store, and I was sad, really sad, that I didn't get to go there. And then I went to another one in Taringa. It's in Taringa. In Brisbane, but it was closed too, and it looked like a really nice shop as well. So yeah, I tried to go to some yarn shops, but it was disappointing that I couldn't. But I'll be going back to Brisbane later this year, I think, so I'll have a look then, and I'm sure they'll be open that time. So I'm sorry, it's now a couple of hours later because that I'm recording, because my camera ran out of battery, and then I had to go and pick up my children. So I'm trying to remember where I was up to. I think I was doing stash enhancement, and I was talking about knit picks. I had a knit picks order arrive, and in that knit picks order I bought some Felici in the rainbow colorway. I bought 2 skeins of that one, and I'm going to knit my niece a pair of mitts. She's about to go off to live in Melbourne and join the circus. She's going to go to circus school for the next couple of years in Melbourne, so I'm going to knit her some rainbow mitts because I think that will just go. And of course it's grey and dreary a lot of the time in Melbourne, so they may just brighten her up when the weather's not that nice. What else did I got a few other things in my knit picks order, but my favourite thing that I got is this Holly Bright. Look at that! Oh, it's being blown out now. My light has changed. This is the Stroll Fingering Brights range, and this colour is called Pucker. And there's a brioche hat on the Pearl Soho website, which is this bright pink and creamy white, and I would like to knit that hat for this winter, so this is my pink. I've just got to get the white. They didn't have the Stroll in the white colour when I went to get it, so I will do that in my next order. I do have some Stroll in a natural, actually. I could use that. Not Stroll, I've got gloss, Knit Picks gloss. So I'll have to have a look and see if that would do the job. The other thing I got, which isn't all that exciting, is some two more skeins of the Not Just Socks from Spotlight. Again, it's blowing out. That's the orange. They don't have colours. There's only 4 colourways. This one, a light grey, beigey colour, that dark grey which I bought last year, and this one here, which I think this is the same colour as the pink sugar in the Deborah Norville Serenity sock. So I'm looking forward to knitting those eventually. So that's it for my stash enhancement. Oh, and the last thing that I bought is a pom-pom. These are really hard to get in Australia at the moment. I have got 2 coming on Etsy, but I saw this one. It's a hair tie. I'm not quite sure why anybody would want to have this in their hair. That's quite a lot of pom-pom for a hair tie. But I thought I could cut the hair tie off and sew it onto the top of a beanie. Because I absolutely love how those beanies with these furry pom-poms look. And I'm disappointed that they're not a thing here, easily available. So I bought this one, and I've got 2 more coming. So I am going to move on now to some sewing news. As I said in the introduction, I have been doing some sewing, and I have tried my hand at sewing some needle cozies or DPN cozies. And if you've been following my Instagram, you will have seen that I have been putting these in my shop. So this is a sample. I made a mistake on this one, and I can't sell it, which is disappointing because it's, I mean, I could probably unpick it, but we'll see. So these are sold out, so I don't know why I'm showing this to you. This is called Ducks in a Row. this one here, I don't have a name for this one. This was also a sample that I sewed up, and I don't know if you can see, but it's crooked. So any that you buy that this chevron pink will not be crooked. This one is also a sample, but this one will be available in the shop later next week. They've got snaps, so that's that one. And I'll just show you the inside of this pink one. Black spots and the inside of the ducks. And that's my little label with Stevie the cat. And somebody was asking me on Instagram if you could use these DPN cozies for things other than socks, and whether or not you could use them with interchangeables. So I've got my interchangeables here with my shawl, and I'm just going to pop them in to my pink one to show you. So I guess this is more for if you were using this as a something to stop the project coming off your needles, and also to stop your needles getting broken if you're not using a project bag. So yes, my interchangeable needles are Knit Pro Novas. That's what those ones are. And as you can see, you've got the project in there, and I mean, if you pulled on it, they might come out, but if it was in your bag, I don't think that would happen. But it doesn't come out just from shaking it. So you could use them like that as well. I haven't got, oh yeah, I can show you them on my fixed circular needles as well. I don't knit socks with DPNs. So here is my sock, and here is my needle with the sock, that end that's being knit, and then that just goes in and the sock goes between, and then you can just tuck up your cable and clip it. I like to tuck the cable in so that it's if it gets pulled on, it's probably not going to come out. And there you go. It's not as neat looking with a circular, fixed circular as it is with a set of DPNs, but it does exactly the same thing. So keeps your project nice and cozy and your needles nice and safe. There we go. So this one is available in the shop. I have enough of this fabric to make a few more. This one will be available later this week when I do an update, probably on the weekend, next weekend. And then I have a few more fabrics that I have plans for turning into DPN cozies, and I'm just looking through them here. I've got the monkeys, and the monkeys go with pink spots, and I have some foxes, and the foxes go with orange spots. And there's a few more, and they're down in my stash down there, which is out of my reach right now. Oh wait, here they are right now. I got them out. That was very organised of me. So we have some farm animals with paisley, and there's some little sheep there. And I have the purple, and that's with blue. And I have some Japanese bunnies with a pink. And there's a few more too which are not in my reach. So if you're in Australia and you want some DPN cozies, keep an eye on my Etsy shop, and that Etsy shop is called Wonderwolle Designs, because as far as I know, I am the only person in Australia making these for sale on Etsy. And we all know in Australia right now how bad the exchange rate is. So, other shop news, sorry for people who aren't interested. There's something exciting coming up, so don't go away yet. I have a new set, 2 new sets. Well, one's an updated set of stitch markers. This one is called High Tea with the Queen. And here you go, if you can see that there. We've got a teacup, a teapot, a pearl, and a crown. And this is limited edition. I only have 5 more of these left. So if you love this, get on Etsy and snap it up, because once these are gone, I will not be doing these again in the near future. And then the other set is updated, because I wanted to change the gun off of this one. So this one's Big Boys Toys, or Boys and Their Toys, sorry. And you can see there's a little truck, a guitar, a gem, and a motorcycle. And the other thing I wanted to say about the stitch markers is that while I show them here and on the website with jump rings to be made as stitch markers, I can make any of these stitch markers as progress keepers. So you just have to let me know. There's a select button on the Etsy shop. Just let me know, and I can make them as progress keepers. That's no problem at all. So check the Etsy shop out if you're in the market for some stitch markers or some needle cozies. Now, the last thing is that if you follow me on Instagram, you will see that I recently had a 500 follower giveaway. Now, the giveaway was very, very generously given to me by Circus Tonic Handmade. Hannah is her name, the dyer. She is an indie dyer based in New South Wales. I think she's in Sydney, or just north of Sydney. And she very generously gave me not 1 but 2 skeins of yarn to give away to celebrate reaching 500 subscribers. Now, not only did I reach 500 subscribers on Instagram, but I also reached 500 subscribers on my YouTube channel. So I am going to give the second skein away to viewers of the podcast. I'm going to get it, one moment. Where have I put it? Here it is. Now, I think that this skein of yarn is absolutely beautiful. It's that's pretty true to colour. It's called Southern Fairy Wren. Hannah names all of her yarns after birds, because they're inspired by colours of birds in Australia. So this is beautiful fingering weight. It's 100% Australian superwash merino, 360 metres in 100 grams, so 393 yards. Absolutely beautiful, and I'm going to give this away. Now, how we're going to do that is you need to go to the Ravelry group, so Wonderwolle Designs on Ravelry, and I will put a thread in there that is a question prompt for the giveaway. And what that question is what are you most looking forward to learning in 2016? Okay, so what are you looking forward most to learning in 2016? Now, it doesn't have to be knitting related. It could be craft related. It could be something else completely in your life. But you have to be a member of the Ravelry group and leave a message in that thread. I will leave this open for 2 weeks, so it will close on the 29th of January. And there will be a this and a set of stitch markers. So if you would like to win this, head over to the Ravelry group and put your answer in the prompt, and just one entry per person, please. So I think that's pretty much it for today. I have a few sewing plans that don't involve sewing things for the shop. I've got some cushion covers to sew up for my son's bedroom, and actually what I should do is tell you what I am most looking forward to learning this year. I am most looking forward to learning how to knit a garment. So what I was talking about right at the very start around all those garment quantities of yarn, I am going to start with the Myrna cardigan by Andy Satterland, and move on from there. I don't really know what I'll move on to from there, but that's where I'll start, which is I've got some nice red worsted weight yarn sitting there waiting for that cardigan. The other thing, and this is not learning, but the other thing that I'm planning on doing in the next little while is sewing a dress. And that dress is going to be the Emery dress by Christine Haynes. I have quite a few long lengths of fabric in my stash that I am still contemplating which one will become Emery, but I am going to make a muslin first because I want to get the fit right. From what I've looked at lots and lots of Emery dresses on Pinterest and on Instagram, and as far as I can tell, the Emery dress looks best when it is nicely fitted. And I think I'm going, because you can do a sleeve version with sort of sleeves that come down to here, but I think I am actually going to do a sleeveless version because I wear lots of cardigans and jackets, so I don't think I need the sleeves. So hopefully over the next couple of weeks I will, this skein of yarn has just come undone and I'm going to reskein it now. I'll have that process started. It's quite beautiful, isn't it? I might have to buy a skein of this Hannah. I'm quite liking it. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I think it'd make quite a nice shawl actually. Maybe a 2-colour shawl. I'm not sure it goes with the yellow. Although purple does go with yellow, doesn't it? So I'm going to leave it there for today, and this is hurting my thumbs. That must mean it's right to go. I hope that you enter the giveaway. I am looking forward to giving that away. I'll draw it on my next podcast episode. So make sure that you watch so that you can see if you're a winner. And then there we go. Yeah, so it's been great to catch up with everyone. I hopefully am starting to get back into the swing of normal, regular routine life. I have my littlest son starting kindergarten in 2 weeks' time, which is exciting to have both of them at the same school. But it sort of changes the routine a little because he's not used to going to school every day. So I can imagine that we're going to have some tired boys in our house for the next month or so. Hopefully that doesn't affect things too badly. And I will insert the video from us at the beach here. I hope that you have a great couple of weeks and spend plenty of time crafting yourself some happiness. See you later.